You're tuned in to the Binge It Babe podcast with your host, me, Candace Estelle. All right, babes, let's get binging. Hey, hi, hello, and how are you, babes? It's October 6th. The weather is quite nippy today, nippier than I thought it would be. So we've got our chai masala, we've got our spooky mug, we've got our spooky sweatshirt, and we're going to get started. I'm going to place this in the center now because it makes me more comfortable. I am noticing that there's a bit of choppiness to my video and I'm not sure what to do to fix it. So I'm just going to try not to move as much right now. But honestly, we know me. I move around. I'm I've got movements to me. I have to move my hands. I have to move my arms and my legs and whatever. Well, not necessarily my legs right now. Pardon me, Percy. Hi, it's October 6th. It's the 6th day of this, but also technically the second week because our October started on a Tuesday and a week technically starts on a Sunday. So this is week 2 of spooky season 2024, and I am already so tired. Now, to be fair, I did have to do a lot of prep work to even start, so just getting started was a lot, like figuring out the schedule and then figuring out how long everything was and do I want to do this? Can I do that? Do I have access to this? Do I have access to that? Let me tell you, didn't do a great job with that one because there is some stuff that I thought I had access to that's not working now, which is a little bit difficult. Okay, whatever. Technical difficulties out of the way. Today we're talking about the fan favorite Hocus Pocus. So Hocus Pocus is a Disney movie that came out, I want to say in the 90s, but it could have been in the 80s. I don't actually know. It came out and it wasn't something I really watched as a kid. I am going to double check and let's see when Hocus Pocus came out. Hocus Pocus, when did you come out? 1993. Okay, cool. I was right. It's the 90s. I'm probably a little too loud if I'm that close. Okay. So Hocus Pocus is about the Sanderson sisters, and if you're like, no, they're the antagonists, it's about them. Okay, guys? They're who is on all of the movie posters. They are who we all care about. Like, do we enjoy Thackeray Banks? Mouthy little black cat? My black cat is right here. Hold on, let me see if I can catch him. Hey, dude. Dude, what if instead of fighting me, you just let me pick you up? Oh. Why don't you say to the people how much you appreciate that I did not name you Thackeray? Oh, it's time. Oh, okay. I apologize. That was era appropriate for that time. And what's your name? What's your name, handsome? That's Sir Charlie Pancakes. Let me clean up your mouth. Yeah, you're drinking water. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're so sweet. I talk about this all the time, but October, it's a good month to have a black cat. It's a good month to take care of him and make sure that he knows that he's safe and sound and healthy and he won't be sacrificed. No rack or rice for you today, my love. Mwah. Do you want to get down? Or do you want me to hold you more? I can't tell. You seem ambivalent. Mommy got. Yep. Thank you for that. Thank you. You're so handsome. I should get you your own little chair and you can sit up here and do these with me. What do you think? Do you want me to leave you alone? How about I put you down and get you right back to drinking your water? I love you too. I know he always kind of just looks frustrated with me, but the thing is he can get over it because we're in love. And he spends most of his time sitting with me. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell if there's something on my face. You can tell that I'm very tactile sensitive because the moment I pick them up, you'll start noticing I'm touching my face a lot and moving around and there's almost nothing there. It's just I have to touch my face to make sure everything feels normal. I can't help it. Nope, couldn't tell you what I was about to say or what I was talking about. I know it was Charlie, but I don't know why. Oh yeah, we love each other. He just meowed. Um, I do know that we love each other, but he doesn't know where to sit with me at the desk. And I think that that's what stresses him out. When I'm on the couch or something, he'll sit right next to me on the couch. He has a spot. Or if we go to bed, he has a spot. But here, he doesn't have a spot. And so whenever I pick him up, he's just like, where do I go? Where's my area? I do have the little pet beds under my desk that are like in the desk, so they can sit there. But that's not the same because then you wouldn't be able to see him. I wish I could get him to just sit like right here. Hello, sir. You're very cute. Yeah, he's meowing. Okay, so we're doing Hocus Pocus. Like I said, we've got the Sanderson sisters. We've got Thackeray Binks, that cutie little black cat. And then we've got some modern day, for 1993, children. And so the whole thing is that the Sanderson sisters want to become immortal and they need to do a virgin sacrifice for that, which honestly, like, okay, Disney for the 90s, that's a little bit intense. But they're going to do this virgin sacrifice. They have to use a black flame candle to be, like brought back into this plane. And the cat that they had cursed back in, I want to say the 1600s before they were hanged, was Thackeray Binks. And so he's this sassy little cat that he's a Salem esque character and probably my favorite part of the movies. I am a cat lady, so that might be a part of it. Um, and obviously, they're the antagonist, they're not the protagonist, so we don't want them to win, I guess. But they are three sisters. It's Bette Midler, it's Kath, Catherine Najimy. I'm not sure I'm saying her name right. And Sarah Jessica Parker, which is very fun because they all follow so heavily, cartoonishly heavily into the tropes of like uh Bette Midler's the evil genius one, and then or at least the most evil leader version. And then we have Sarah Michelle or not Sarah Michelle. My goodness, that's Buffy. Apologies, different spooky thing. Um Sarah Jessica Parker, and she's the ditzy hot one, but like whoa to the extreme with it. And then we have Catherine or Kathy. I wonder if she prefers Kathy Najimy, who is like the silly, goofy, a little bit out there one. She's my favorite, obviously. The way she holds her mouth and the way she speaks, it's so funny. I can't even, there's no way I could do it. Not doing it justice. So I really do enjoy them as like characters. And I know that they're not supposed to be the main characters, right? They are supposed to be the antagonists, but they're so fun and ridiculous that that's who I care about. Like I care about the cat, okay? Um and that's it. I don't care about the human children. Couldn't even tell you who they were or their names. I feel like I should be able to because my brain is saying that the little girl is Thora Birch. So actually, I'm pretty sure that the little girl is Thora Birch. Why do I know her name? No idea. I can recall that Lorelai Gilmore in some episode of Gilmore Girls says something about Thora Birch, and that's it. And that's my brain associating, just being like technical, like pop culture things that we can put together and not give you any context, but you have some sort of knowledge. And then it tap dances, my brain does, and then I think, oh, this is very weird. And then that's just every single day of my life. So they have their book of shadows that they need to get the spell so that they can, I want to say, sacrifice or resurrect or whatever, um, and become immortal. They got to stay sexy, they got to stay alive. And Thackeray, the cat, and the children are trying to stop her. And I believe it's like a virgin that had to light the black flame candle. And so the teenage guy is who lights it. And that's supposed to be like a joke. In the 90s, that's for sure a joke. Nowadays, it's like, good for you. Don't fall under peer pressure. You don't have to have sex in high school. I didn't, and I'm adorable. Look at me. Did not have sex in high school. Also, have not had sex for over a year. It's not a big deal. Just Do what's right for you and your body and not what the people around you are wanting you to do. I fear that almost every episode I accidentally take silly, goofy pop culture things and then I'm like, let's have a real conversation about it every year, every single one, where I'll be like, let's talk about age gaps in relationships. Let's talk about financial abuse and insecurity. Let's talk about teenage abstinence or virginity. I am not, by the way, purporting like, oh, abstinence, do it. No. Like, I'm not saying that you should be abstinent. I'm just saying you should make decisions based off of your own feelings and your own body and not how the people around you behave or what's perceived as cool. Because if I'm honest, it's not that cool. It's just a thing, you know? Also, I don't really care about virginity in terms of like, oh, it's such a big deal. It's a very big deal to have sex for the very first time. But besides that, I think virginity is a myth in general. And it's used a lot in like witchcraft tropes because it's supposed to symbolize purity, and witches are the antithesis of that in a lot of tropes, where it's just like, oh, well, we need something pure because it couldn't possibly be us. Stupid, silly, not real. Okay, don't fall for any of that. Also, if the Scream movies have taught us anything, or, you know, any modern day things, you don't have to be a virgin to survive. Sometimes the virgin doesn't survive. There are some movies that we will get to this week, actually, where being a virgin is actually super helpful, but only because of like devil worshipy things, which again, I think is kind of a silly trope if you look at it from any point of view that makes sense, because it's very much so this like religiously biblical thing where it's like the devil wants a virgin because, you know, it can't get it and that's the most pure you can be. And it's like, how is that possible? Because in Catholicism, you have to have like, you have to be baptized of your original sin. You literally come out the canal or belly, however you appear, uh, with sin. So there's literally never a time when you have purity. It's a weird concept to me. Anyway, what's this have to do with Hocus Pocus? Almost nothing. Um, Lights the black flame candle, and the cat is very upset because he's been guarding the like Sanderson sisters' witchy home. What is on my face? If it's you, I'm gonna be upset, Charlie. My favorite thing is if I say his name, he'll like yell back at me. You guys can't hear it because this microphone is affordable, but it cracks me up because he's a mouthy cat. I've got two mouthy cats and a very cranky dog. He's not cranky with me. He just is upset about the fact that birds exist and people exist. And he gets very mad if the cats are playing. And he gets even more mad if the cats are fighting. And he gets mad at the fact that there are other dogs in the world. But then if I take him to the dog park, he won't play with a single dog. He won't play. He just kind of looks at them from a distance and then he turns and looks at me and then he looks back at them like, "Mom, what do I do?" Like I have the kid that you take to the park where you talk to the parents and you're like, "Could your kid be nice to my kid so that they could maybe be friends cuz my kid is weird and lonely." And then you can't really do that with dogs though cuz you can't force a dog to hang out with another dog. So it's really just me being like, he's weird. And they'll be like, it's okay. He'll get used to it. And then after about 15 minutes, everyone's just looking at my dog who's sitting next to me or trying to chat with all the people. And all the other dogs are playing and playing fetch. Like my favorite thing is when I'll be like, oh, he's a little weird. He's not going to really play or do much. And they'll be like, oh, okay, well, let me get him to fetch. And I'm like, well, he's not going to. He's not going to fetch. And they're like, oh, no, no, well, we're going to do it anyway. And then they'll throw a ball. They'll throw a ball incredibly far, and Domino will look at them and then look at the ball and then look back at them and then just be like, okay, and walk away. And I know this because he does it with me too. And let me tell you, I have fetched more balls now than that little mofo has because I have to go get it eventually. Anyway, what am I talking about once again? It's because there's a cat in this movie. So every time I think about cat, I think about my cat. I got two, my cats. Apologies. Um, and then I think about Domino because he also lives here, and then it's just a silly good time. So there's a weird dance party sequence in this movie. I think it's really fun, but it is really bizarre if you think about it. Um, Sorry, my my cat just jumped into a box, and it's just typical. I have to stop talking about them, I think. Hey, no, don't eat the box. Um, anyway, so the kids are able to stop the Sanderson sisters. Like, they don't want to touch the consecrated ground of like the oh my god, cemetery. I forgot the word cemetery for a second. They don't want to touch the consecrated ground of the cemetery, so like the kids and the cat are there, and then Winnie, which I believe is Bette Midler, is who does touch the cemetery, and she turns into like a statue. Um, the Sandersons also have to complete the spell like on All Hallows Eve before the sun comes up, and then her other two sisters get whisked away into dust because the sun rises at that same time. We also get to meet one of Winnie's like exes who she basically hexed and turned into kind of like a zombie, and like his mouth is all um sewn up, and we find him in the graveyard, which I don't know why. It just cracks me up. It's just so silly because these are all kind of scary concepts like blood sacrifice and virgins and zombies in a graveyard, but then it's a Disney movie, so it's just cheesy as all get out, and also a little inappropriate because the accepted comedy of the time is maybe not so great for children. Um, but yeah, no, it's fun. It's just not one of my favorite Halloween movies, and I know that people are gonna freak out about that because everyone loves it so much. And if you're like, "Wait, did you see the second one?" I did. I thought it was cheesier, but without any nostalgia factor. So it made it even less desirable for me. And that's all I'll say. Like, I don't hate it, but I'm not trying to watch it again. I'm not going to be like, oh, you know what I feel like right now, for the most part. Um, so I believe I ranked Hocus Pocus 28 out of 31. And if you're wondering what the scale is pumpkins. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 27 out of 31. So that's not too bad. Keep in mind that these are, like my top movie choices in general. So it's not bad. It's at least on the list. It's just that I don't really truly love it. You know, I don't love witches being evil trope. I think it's overdone and not fun. And I know in the 90s you're thinking, well, it's from the 90s. It was overdone in the 90s. Okay, it's been overdone since the 1600s. Um, and I do think it's a little cheesy. And because I didn't really grow up watching this movie, I could have, I just didn't. I just don't have as much love for it. I think I really only watched it as an adult because everyone around me is so crazy about it and they love it so much. And I get that, I get that. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I'll be a part of it. Like, I'm not going to be a party pooper by any means, but it's not one of my favorites. It's a classic. I feel like I'm trying to explain myself to people who, just probably don't even care about this silly opinion. Yeah, it's 27 out of 31 pumpkins. It can't be number one. It can't be practical magic, okay? Nothing is as good as practical magic. Practical magic you can watch any time of year if you want, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I have a deep love for Nicole Kidman. I also have a very deep love for Sandra Bullock, but like Nicole Kidman just uh, so you put both of them in a movie, what am I going to do? Not fall in love? A movie about sisterhood and witches not being evil, but being like cool witchy healers. I know that witchy is also not the right word. They're like, oh, it's fun. It's fun and it's fun. It's a little inaccurate, but you know what? So is every movie really. Um Except apparently Interstellar's is as close to like scientifically accurate in terms of sci-fi movies as possible, apparently. Isn't that interesting? That's one of my favorite movies. That's a really good one. Oh my gosh. You know what's weird is I took my medication. I was like, you're ready. You're ready to film. We're ready to do this. You turned on all the lights because there's no sunlight anymore because that's how that works here. And then I'm still just tangent baby. You can call me Binge It Babe, hashtag tangent baby, because that seems to be what I really am. Okay, I really have nothing else to say about Hocus Pocus. I like it. I don't love it. I'm glad they made a sequel for all the people who really love this series because I think it brought a lot of joy. I know there were some very silly parts, like instead of writing brooms, where they wrote like Roombas, which I found really funny. Um, but aside from that, take it or leave it for me. But let's continue because it's only October 6th, and some of my favorite movies are coming. Okay, some of my absolute favorites are coming. So, mwah, mwah, goodbye. I will see you very, very soon. And have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, send me little hearts, read the articles I write about everything that I'm writing about. Watch the pod, share the pod. All hail the pod. Everybody pray for the pod. And I'm sending you guys so much love.